Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Level 1 Podcast. I'm DSP. It's Saturday, the 11th of May, 2024, and it is time for chill vibes. Yes, we need some chill. We absolutely do, because number one, it is hot as hell outside here in Washington. The sun is beating. It's 80-some degrees and climbing. My air conditioner is poised and ready to go. I've got it on fan right now, but I'm going to turn it on probably at some point during this podcast. But not only that, but man, last night was so frustrating, and I'm so glad that today we're gonna have a much more chill, fun, interactive stream, and it's gonna be a better time. Like all day, actually. I'm actually playing 2 games today that previously were just daytime streams, but because of the scheduling going on, how it's going on right now, I actually wanted to play both games today, but I wanted to do it in order. I didn't want to have to wait till Monday to play another Krabs Treasure, so we're doing it as the late stream today. But if you're looking in order of the, how I've been doing things, today is supposed to be Fallout 4, so we're going to do both, okay? So I think today's going to be a really good streaming day. What we're going to do on today's podcast is we're going to talk about Little Kitty Big City, a game that I played yesterday, pretty much in its entirety. I'll explain because I'm going to give it kind of a mini review, having played it and enjoyed it, but also, I'll be honest, feeling like, I don't know, the game left me definitely wanting more, okay? And then I'm going to talk about last night's Street Fighter stream, which, quite frankly, was one of the worst I've ever done. Very frustrating. And we're going to see how I'm doing there in the status of trying to get to Master with Zangief. And we're going to talk about some game news, some news today to cover. It's not all game news, actually. I think it's a follow-up on, whatchamacallit, a story we've been talking about. Oh, actually, this is interesting. One is definitely an interesting one because it's gaming related, but it also has to do with other stuff we've been talking about recently on social media. All right, so you'll see when we get to this news section. So it'll be a good, varied podcast. We may have time for Q&A. We may have time for suggestion box or something else. We'll see how it goes, but much more relaxed atmosphere today than yesterday, that's for sure. All right, let's talk, shall we? All right, let's do it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I returned back for my day off. We had a ginormous podcast full of gaming news. So if you missed yesterday's show, there were updates about all kinds of different stories from all over the place. You definitely want to check it out to be in on news and tech news and stuff like that. You had a lot of different topics discussed. I'm not going to recap them. I definitely recommend that you catch that show, okay? Then we jumped into the new game for the week that is a Game Pass release, Little Kitty Big City, okay? So let's talk about this. A couple years ago, I played a game that was called Stray. And that game, you played as a red, I want to say it was like a tabby cat, but I'm not sure. Not red, excuse me, an orange tabby cat. In a futuristic environment where all the humans had been basically, I guess, killed off. And all that was left was either a bunch of robots that kind of looked like, AI-controlled robots, or a bunch of, monsters and creatures. And so the game was about exploring this post-apocalyptic world, trying to find out what happened to the humans, solving tons of puzzles, and doing fun exploration. And at the end, it had a super heartwarming story. It really, really did. And it was a great game. It was pretty decently lengthy as well. And I really loved it. The graphics were great. The gameplay elements were great. I thought it was like, a super unique Game of the Year contender style game that likes of which, you don't really see. And FYI, makers of Stray have said the game did very well, and they are going to be making more games in the future, likely a sequel as well, which is all good news because the game was so good. Now, I'm a cat owner, right? And so a game like that means even more to me. Because, I love having a cat as a pet, and to see, a cat be the prominent star of a video game that accurately is controlled, the different mannerisms and ways that a cat would act, it's kind of a neat thing, something that you don't see all the time. Usually you're always controlling a human in video games, right? Well, Little Kitty Big City is another game that if you're a cat lover or a cat owner, you're going to love this game regardless of the content because it's more of the same. Although the graphics are a lot more cartoony, the main character, protagonist cat, is very realistic in the way that it moves and the way that it reacts to things. You know, you'll be walking along and it looks exactly like a motion captured cat, the way it jumps and platforms and climbs things, slides down walls using its claws, bats things around, you know, pounces on things, jumps in the trash can and hides, or even, you know, interacts with the environment. There's different emotes that you can unlock during the game. The kitty stretch, the lay down and curl up in a ball, right? So it's pretty realistic to how a cat behaves. So right off the bat, it's very cute. The premise of the game is simple. You're a cat in a big city, and you accidentally fall out of the window of the apartment you live in. You fall all the way to the ground. Luckily, you don't take any damage, and you have to get back to the apartment. Problem is, it's way the heck up on a tall building, and you don't know how you're going to climb up there. So the premise of the game starts off, you're just trying to figure out your way around the city. You can't touch water because cats hate water, so water is your main obstacle, preventing you from getting to other areas of the city, although there are things like walls, gates, and things that you can't climb. So basically, you're walking around trying to find ways under fences, jumping over and platforming on objects, etc. Until you finally run into a crow, and this crow talks to you. So I guess in this universe, animals can communicate. And the crow explains that it wants to help you by giving you a fish, and a fish would give you strength so you can climb things. But you need to bring it shinies. And shinies are essentially anything, that's glinty or metallic in the universe, whether it's a spring or a little nut or whatever. And these are the primary collectibles of the game you're trying to get. They always glow in the environment, and you can get them from so many different ways. Sometimes they're just sitting out. Sometimes they'll be like a jar you knock over and it breaks open and there's a bunch of them. You can go inside of a trash can and jump out and then they fly out. You can pick up pieces of litter and bring it into a recycling bin, and then the bin will regurgitate out one. All right. Once you get your first 25 sparklies, then you can trade them in to get a fish, which is really cool. Once you get your first fish, now you can climb vines that are in the environment. The thing is, you only have one stamina, which is a paw, a cat's paw. So how cute. So you have one stamina bar. So you can't climb very far. The goal of the game is simple. Find 4 fish in the environment. Once you have all 4 fish, you'll have enough stamina to climb the vines that are on the side of your building, and then you can platform to the top of your building, and the game is over. Okay? So you might say, well, that sounds like a short game. Is that all there is to do? No, there's actually a ton of things to do. For example, you can pounce on birds to get feathers. The feathers you give to creatures in order to get abilities. This ability to fast travel all over the map is unlocked by getting feathers. You can find hidden nests. You can help a duckling or a duck who lost its ducklings, and they're hidden in the environment, and you get them to follow you back to the parent duck. There's a beetle that sadly has a phone that it was using, and the phone is damaged, so you have to find a replacement phone. There are little areas on the map that quite appropriately are perfect nap spots for cats, and anyone who has a cat knows cats have a tendency to find silly places to nap, and so there's like 7 or 8 of those in the map you can find. Now you might say, well, that all sounds well and good, but what's all that for? Nothing. It's literally for nothing. All the content I described is content. It's very well in the game. It's challenging. Sometimes you have to solve puzzles and things. You have to do secret platforming areas and stuff to get to it. You really get nothing for it. It has nothing to do with the objective of the game, getting back to your home and ending the game. Now, the other thing about the game is that there are hidden balls in the environment. I guess they're supposed to be cat toys. To me, they look like floating Pokeballs or floating like fishing bobbers. You know, with those things that float above the water, above your fishing line. So when you get those, you always unlock something new, mostly hats. There's a ridiculous amount of silly hats in the game. And honestly, this kind of tells you where the game is set, because a lot of these hats are very Japanese-centric. They'll be saying, oh, the daikon radish, or a fruit you've never heard of, but you find out it's a Japanese fruit. And you kind of have a hint throughout the game that you think that it is supposed to be set in Japan, but it's never clearly stated in the environment or anywhere. You don't see Japanese kanji or anything that says, hey, you're in Japan. But once you start getting the hatch and you unlock it, you realize it's definitely you're in Japan, okay? And that's really like the cute thing about the game, is finding these hidden hats and constantly just equipping them on the cat. It's really neat. But in reality, that's the extent of the game. So there's a bunch of collectathon stuff that's hidden items, and there's finding the 4 fish, and that's the entirety of the game. So to give you some perspective, I played Little Kitty Big City yesterday, and I was taking my time doing optional stuff as I came up against it. I played it, and I by the time that I was at the end of the game, I think I had around half of the hats. Okay, I think the game said it had something like 50 or 60 hats, something like that, and I had like half of them. I had gotten almost all of the birds' nests. I had found all but 2 of the napping spots. I had found 3 of the 4 missing ducklings, okay? And, you know, probably 1 or 2 other collectibles I'm not thinking of or aren't coming to mind right now, okay? So, in reality, I did a lot of the content of the game. And then I realized, oh, you can just beat the game by getting the 4 fish. Let me do that. At one point, when you complete a certain mission, you're actually given a map. And that map unlocks the locations of the critical items of the game, and that's how you know where the fish are. So once I had that, I was like, oh, I'm just going to go get the fish. So I did, and then I proceeded to the end of the game, and in the entirety of the game, I ran into 2 bugs. There was one point where I was trying to platform, and there was a weird invisible object in the environment you couldn't see, and it was forcing me to not be able to do the platforming standard like you're supposed to. It was a weird glitch. After I approached it from a different angle, it worked like it was supposed to. So, kind of weird, but I got it done. The other thing is that the final sequence of the game, when you're climbing this giant tower, okay? Basically, you get to a certain point, and it's almost unclear, like, what the game wants you to do. And I'm like, well, what direction do I go here? I'm not sure. So, at one point, it shows like a scaffolding, an awning on it, like a tarp. And you could just repeatedly jump, and get to the top. I'm like, oh, okay, now what next? And it looks like there's a jump. You jump, and you just phase right through. You can't even walk through. You just phase through. So it's obvious that's not where you're supposed to go. But if that's the case, you shouldn't be able to get there. Like, they should have it. That tarp shouldn't be there. They should just block it off. But it's kind of a misleading area. I tried it 3 times, and I was like, I guess this can't be it. I keep falling through. Come to find out, there's another area on the other side of that level of your climb where you are supposed to go, but it's kind of hidden around a corner and it's not apparent. So, you know, there's 1 or 2 parts of the game where there's a little bit of wonkiness that could have been improved. But for the most part, the game is well done, well polished. It's silly. You can interact with the humans. For example, you could swipe at a human's leg and make them drop an object, and that might be an object you need for a quest. Like at one point, I needed a phone. So I swiped a human and stole their phone. Like, well, that's pretty cool. That phone's probably like over $1,000 in these modern times. You just stole their phone, right? So, I completed the game yesterday in 1 stream. Yes, no exaggeration. I think I played 3 hours, 20 minutes. I saw the vast majority of what the game had to offer, and I beat it. Now, could I have gone back and done more? Sure. Excuse me. Like I said, there's a few things I didn't do. I didn't unlock every nap spot. One of them was kind of elaborate, where you had to get a bagel from a human and then platform up a building, get back to this nap spot for a cat and ring its dinner bell, and then it will go eat the bagel, and then you can take its nap spot, right? So, I mean, I could have done that, the extent of that, right? I could have looked for every shiny. I could have looked for every hat. I could have saved the ducklings. But in reality, all you're working towards is an achievement. Because if you're playing this either on PC or on Xbox, you get achievements for these things. But that's it. There's like no big in-game reward for doing it. You don't need to do it to beat the game. It's just extra content. In fact, the vast majority of Little Kitty Big City is just that. It's extra content. After you've given 25 shinies to the crow, you literally never need to pick up a shiny ever again in the game. They're only used to unlock hats. That's it. And there's tons of them in the game. So, here's the thing. Little Kitty Big City, number one, if you're a cat lover, you're probably going to love the game because it really replicates the mannerisms of cats really, really well. That's number one. Number two, if you're a collectathon style person and you like platforming, you're probably going to like this puzzle platformer collectathon game. But outside of that, right, I really don't foresee this game making many waves. It's a cutesy little game. It's fine if you have an afternoon with nothing to do and maybe you're already a Game Pass subscriber and you just want to kill some time. You're like, oh, I'll check it out, right? But man, it's just nothing like what I thought it was going to be a more complex game. I mean, even if it was like 6 to 8 hours long, which by the way, that's what reviewers were saying. They're like, oh, it's 6 to 8 hours long. That's completely false. The game is 3 hours long. You can play it for 6 hours if you're going 100% completionist, but the game is absolutely only 3 hours long. So, you know, what are you talking about, right? And yeah, it's kind of silly that, here's the thing. I liked it. I enjoyed my 3 hours in the game. I feel like a game like this has a place in gaming, even though I'll be honest, I feel like it was kind of like short and sweet, but I wish it was longer because I actually was liking my time with the game, okay? Maybe there should have been 8 fish and the city should have been bigger. And, you know, the puzzles get increasingly more difficult the further out you go in the city to get the fish or whatever. And it just wasn't. It was a pretty simple game. But basically, the way I see it is a lot of people hate on a game like this because they think every game should be at a minimum 12 to 15 hours. Every game should have a big challenge or whatever. I see a place in gaming for games like this that have a cute design, cute atmosphere. They fill in a gap of people who are pet lovers, right? Like, I get it. I understand why people would like it. Is it for everyone? Absolutely not. That's a niche. That's a little niche, a quarter niche. So a game like this is never going to be a big seller. A game like this is not going to break records, but it's definitely a cute game for a certain audience. And I definitely recommend it to cat lovers or puzzle platformer lovers, okay? But outside of that, you're probably not going to like it if you're not into cats at all. Like, I couldn't imagine someone who just doesn't like cats playing this game and being like, oh, what a great game. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, I'm just going to say this. People who are saying it's aimed for kids are complete idiots. They're fucking liars. They're morons. The only reason they say that is because of the way it looks. Bullshit. The game is not just made for kids. You can have relaxing games that are for adults. This definitely is a game for all ages. It's not just for kids. It's not just for adults. It's for all ages. Morons will say, oh, easy games are for kids. No, you're just a fucking idiot who doesn't understand. Relaxing games have a place in gaming for everybody. Just because you don't like them because you're just this one-track mind person who only thinks challenging adult-oriented games are for adults, you're an idiot. Okay? Okay. Anyway. So, overall, Little Kitty Big City is a fun game for a quick afternoon, especially for cat lovers, but it ain't special in regards to like, oh, it's long, it's Game of the Year material. Of course not. But I think it does have a place in gaming. There's a niche for it. It just so happens I was one of the people who would like it, but definitely way too short. For example, I had no idea it was that short, you know, and it is a little disappointing because I was hoping to play it at least 2-3 times this week, and now it's done. I'm not going back to 100% it. Heck no. I know that the collectibles are just for silly, oh, put on another hat, oh, get an achievement, right? So, yeah, it's kind of a little, it almost feels bittersweet to me because I liked it, but man, it was so short. I wish there was more to it, you know? Okay. So that's Little Kitty Big City. We're already done with it. Of course, this means now the schedule is going to be thrown a little bit for a loop, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay. So last night, it was Friday Night Fight Street Fighter 6. Arguably one of the most frustrating nights I've ever had in fighting games. Why? Because I'm at that level now. The final level of challenge before Master. This is the hardest level of grind for most people. Because every single person here is a tryhard. Every single person has probably been playing endlessly with their mains. And they're really, they're trying to hang. I mean, I played a 1,700 point Master player. And I'm like, that's a high level Master player. And I'm using the worst character in the game, and I'm trying to hang against him, Keep in mind with Zangief, sadly, if you miss one combo, one move, one anything, it's essentially the end of the round for Zangief. It's so hard to come back from a deficit with Zangief. And the problem is his stuff is high execution. It's another problem. So not only did you make him one of the most difficult to win with because he doesn't have a lot of good tools, you also made him high execution. So now it's like both things combined, right? It's like a double whammy. Then on top of that, you got to keep in mind, I'm playing on PS5, which means I have way more input delay than those playing on PC, so I'm already at an innate disadvantage. And the netcode is terrible and doesn't favor Zangief. It favors button mashers and shit like that. Like, there were some ridiculous things last night. I'm in the middle of a combo against an Ed player, all right? A combo that I've done a zillion times. I know the timing. The game claims I timed it wrong. So now I'm wide open, and the Ed just says, okay, 70% punish, game over. I'm like, I had the match won. And a simple combo drops because of the fucking netcode. And he just instantly wins. Why? Because Ed has a 70% punish combo. I take it back. It was more like a 60% punish combo. Does Zangief have a 60% punish combo? No, he doesn't. Like, oh, nice, right? Again, it's such a monstrous disadvantage playing with this character. By far, my favorite point of the night was when I was fighting a Lily player. And this was a decent Lily, all right? And she empty jumped over me. So I literally walked up and punished through her. So one of two things should have happened. Either I get my throw, or she breaks the throw. That's literally it. She can't do anything because she's falling from a jump and she's recovering from the jump. So I should immediately get my throw. The game says she does level 3 super and beats me. You can't do that. You literally in this game cannot empty jump, land, and get instant level 3 super. It doesn't happen. There's recovery frames. So the moment she lands, I punish her, and the game says, oh no, level 3 super in your face. No, that literally can't happen. But that's how this game is online. And again, I'm using Zangief, so it's like, well, can you do anything about the level 3 super? No, you're fucking Zangief. You're just going to eat it now. There's no options to get out of this. I'm not Ken who can mash OD Dragon Punch and blow right through the level 3 super or anything like that. You know? So that's basically my experience last night. It was definitely one of the most frustrating nights I've ever had in Street Fighter 6, if not the most frustrating. I played 2.5 hours. I stayed late. And by the end of that session, I basically was at exactly the same amount of points that I started. And I even beat a master player and got 250 points for the win. And then it was just literal nonstop Cammy, Jury, Ken, DJ, Guile, JP. The vast majority of matches last night were top tier players. Top tier characters, I should say. Not players. Let's make this very clear. Top tier characters, not top tier players. Sadly, most of these players suck. They only know online patterns. They get away with shit because the online doesn't favor a character like Zangief. It favors someone mashing a high priority pattern, i.e. a top tier character in this game. And very, very sadly, again, if they make a mistake and I try to punish it, 9 times out of 10, because they're using top tier characters, they instantly recover and just blast you in the face anyway. If Zangief makes one mistake, he's literally open endlessly, and then they could do a ginormous punish combo. So there's rounds where I've got the enemy down to nothing, and then I'm about to finish the match. Oh, look, this is the wrong move. Guess what? I just instantly lose. Wow. That's a great game, huh? No, it's not. It actually is incredibly frustrating. It's just like, again, this is the reason why they need to change the game with this balance patch, which I don't know if they're going to at this point, because it seems like the changes they're making are nonsensical, like make bad characters even fucking worse, which I don't understand. Anyway, yeah. There's not much else that can be said. It was one of the most frustrating nights of fighting games I've ever played. So, here's the truth. I am very glad I'm taking a break. The next time I'm playing Street Fighter 6 is going to be Tuesday night. So, I'm taking a much-needed 3-day break. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday from fighting games before I go back onto that grind to try to get Zangief to master. What we need to hope for, which is literally the opposite of what happened yesterday, we need to hope for a night where I'm not fighting the endless waves of the top 6 characters. Again, Ken, Jury, Cammy, DJ, Guile, JP. Anytime I face those 6 characters, those 6 will dominate Zangief. And it is such an insanely hard fight to win that it's like torture. It's like you're playing a fucking stupid little match against a nobody online, and you got to play it like you're at fucking Evo Finals to win the match. Like, I don't want to do that. This is stupid. Why the fuck is the game so hard to play? So anyway, We'll see what happens next time I play. Will I get lucky and actually face mid to low tier characters where I actually stand a fair chance? And that's the problem. I'm facing so few of them that it's like, dude, it's such a fucking, you're gonna lose. And I did. The statistics are pathetic. To give you the number, 39%. That is by far one of my worst win-loss ratios. In fact, just to confirm that, actually, I only did worse than 39% the very first time I was using characters. Seriously. Like, for example, Ryu, I only won 28% of the time when I first used him. Aki, I only won 28% of the time when I used her. Mano, the one time I used her, 34%. DJ, 38%. Yeah, so these characters, you know, when I first used them and didn't know what I was doing and basically didn't like those certain characters' builds, I did pathetically bad. But for the most part, with the character who I know what I'm doing with, I do better than that. I did worse. Once I did 36% with Zangief, actually. So this was my second worst night with Zangief ever. Not actually my first worst. And in reality, I've done worse with like Dalsim. With Dalsim, I did a 31% night during my climb to platinum. But I'm not going to let this deter me. I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to say I need a break. I need a few days away from the game because the game's too fucking stressful at this point. You try to play it and it's like, it's just torture at this point. You know, like what the fuck? And incredibly frustrating. But I'll say this, my overall win-loss ratio with Zangief is still positive. I'm still 54%. So I'm still in the black when it comes to Zangief. I just can't keep having bad nights like that, you know? So, we'll see what happens on Tuesday when I play again. All right, you know, we'll reassess. We'll try again. Hopefully I get a better night. Like literally, I hope to get a better night where it won't be as stressful and it won't be as many just non-stop top tier matches that just frustrate the shit out of me. We'll see. Okay? I think really the big part about it is the time now. Because I wanted to get Zangief to master before the update, and the update is May 22nd. Now it's May 11th. So I have one more stream this week, Friday, and then basically one more stream. And that's it. So I have 3 streams, 6 hours to get Zangief to master. And when I play 2.5 hours, and I literally am exactly the same spot where I started, that's a problem. That's disheartening. You know, maybe at this point, am I ever going to get Zangief to master? It's very, very frustrating. I just want to get it done because it'll feel like a relief to do it. And then I can try other characters. Like what I wanted to do was get him to master and then do like 1 or 2 streams of everybody else just as a refresher. Like I really want to play Dalsim again. And then, you know, get myself hyped for the upcoming update. But if I'm stuck, you know, with Zangief at this level, it's going to be too frustrating. I'm like, damn, I just need to get him past this. You know what I'm saying? So I guess we'll see what happens. All right. It was again, I apologize for the rage, but you have to understand that this is the most rage-inducing thing I do, is to play fighting games and know that I'm better than what's going on in the game, but being limited by a character, being limited by the netcode, it's frustrating as shit. I wanted to play better than 39% night. That's pathetic in my opinion, you know? Some people will disagree. To me, that's pathetic. I should be doing much better than that. Especially when I know how to beat the opponents. There's a few people who kicked my ass. Like, if there was a Master Minot, she slapped me around. And that I respect. I was like, damn, this person absolutely knows what they're doing. That's a mid-tier character. She knows the match, and she just destroyed me. Good. Respect to you. 2 thumbs up. But when I'm playing just a stupid top-tier character, playing the same exact fucking way as everybody else, no originality, no reacting to anything I do, just fucking pattern. It's like, flowchart bullshit is just, it's frustrating as shit. Especially when you lose to it and you can't help it, you know? Anyway. There you have it. That was last night. Now let's talk about today. Today, a completely different vibe. Because today, we're doing Fallout 4 on the first stream. And, Oh, my nose itches. Fallout 4 on the first stream. Last time around, we did a lot of questing in the northeast of the map. If you remember, we actually explored Salem and or all the surrounding areas. We went to the Dunwich Dig, and the Dunwich Dig was really good because we got a really good melee weapon, which I really enjoyed getting that weapon because now it's super good for my build. And also, we unlocked a bunch of missions now in Good Neighbor. So I'm thinking today maybe we should go to Good Neighbor and we should continue on there and see what unlocks. I think there's a lot of things that actually unlock once you hit Good Neighbor, if I remember. Right? I think so. I think Good Neighbor is a really good spot for questing and story development as well. We'll probably do some of that stuff today. Now, the thing is, today we're starting in a vault. Because last time around, we ended at a vault. What was it? Vault 81 or something like that? So we're going to continue. We're going to do whatever that vault quest line is first. I don't even know what that is. So we're going to do this vault first, and then we'll probably head to Good Neighbor and go from there. Okay? It's fun. It's chill. It's cool and interactive. We can talk the whole time. Unlike, that's another thing, too. When I'm playing Street Fighter 6, I'm so competitive. You know, I got to concentrate. I can't talk to you guys. And it sucks because people will come by, and they'll be, like, trying to, like, talk. Guys, I can't talk. I'm playing a competitive fighting game. I'm in the mindset of the game. This would be the equivalent of me in a video arcade or a tournament, sitting there standing on a cabinet playing, and you're trying to have a side conversation with me when I'm playing fucking against someone. You know, it's like, what? I just, you know, my brain is here. My brain has to be here. It can't be here, here, here. And it just sucks because I want to hang out and talk with you guys. And sadly, I can't when I'm doing that kind of a game. Fallout, definitely different. We can have a good chill time, and that's what I'm looking for today, to have a chill stream with all of you. So I hope that you're going to hang out with me and enjoy that, okay? My button unbuttoned. There we go. I was wondering what was going on. A button had completely unbuttoned. There we go. Cool. Hopefully that doesn't keep unbuttoning. Hopefully it's not a loose button. Oh, it feels fine. I was wondering because I was looking on camera and it kept looking like there was I thought, oh no, is my shirt stretching or am I getting fatter or something? No, button unbuttoned. That's what it was. Okay. Cool. Tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it's Little Kitty Big City. No, it's not. It is another Krabs treasure, and this game has far exceeded my expectations at this point. This game is neat. Not only does it play like a Sekiro or Souls-like hybrid, but it's got fun exploration, cool world design, interesting story elements. It's genuinely good. Now, does it need some polish? Yes. There's wonkiness to some of the platforming, but for the most part, I'm enjoying it. Even though they nerfed my build, because I had a really overpowered build with these items that I had found. They nerfed my build, but I'm still enjoying it. I fought an optional super boss last time, which then led to me getting a really powerful boss ability. And then I started leveling up big time, and I had a really good time, and I'm excited for tonight because we're going to get, actually, I think we're doing a dungeon, and once the dungeon's done, you get the ability to power up this other optional thing in the environment, which we've known about for a while. It's these little crab robots that, like, stand there like this, and you can't do anything with them until you, like, shock them, but we don't have the ability to shock them yet. So once we get that ability to shock them, now we can like do puzzles and stuff that'll get to other areas that we haven't been able to go to yet, and probably get like the final unlockables, maybe some optional bosses. So I'm excited tonight to see how far we get and where it goes. You know, it's been a great game. I love the vibe of the game. Even though it's challenging, it's still a lot of fun. So I hope tonight, for those who've been checking out another Krabs Treasure, I hope you'll come by and hang out tonight on the late stream. I know it's been a day stream up to now, but dude, I didn't want to wait till Monday to play this game again. I like it so much, I want to continue on. I don't want to wait a week, right? So that's why we're doing it tonight as the late stream. Tomorrow, it is React Day. So all day long, I'll be reacting. It's going to be, of course, my usual clip show, DSP versus the Internet on the DSP Reacts channel, which, by the way, now you can find it at youtube.com/@DSP Reacts. They fixed it, thankfully. And then on the late stream, we are finishing up The Walking Dead Season 1 from Telltale Games Retro React. It's been 6 weeks, and we're finally going to finish it. We're going to only have like 20 minutes left of episode 4, and then episode 5, the final episode, is only 90 minutes long. So we're going to have a good enough time to finish it and do final thoughts and everything and reminisce on it. It's going to be a fun time. Now, also, tomorrow night, we're going to set up the poll for next week's Retro React. And I have some interesting ideas. I was thinking about this. And I was like, what are some of the most fun playthroughs and personal favorites that I've done that I think would be really neat to react to? And I was like, oh yeah, I remember 2 playthroughs from the past that for me stand out and resonate. All right. So we're going to do a poll that's going to have 2 things that we've talked about together and 2 things that I have pulled out of the archives as fun playthroughs. Okay. And you'll see on Sunday night, I'll reveal it then. We'll do a live poll and people will begin to vote and they'll vote over the week. And that'll determine what the next Retro React will be next weekend. Not to say that we'll lock into playing the whole game or watching the whole game, but it's loose. The button is loose. Ugh, that's not good. Shit. The button on my shirt is loose. That means, sadly, it's probably going to keep getting loose no matter what. So if it keeps doing that, I might have to wear this one with an undershirt and leave it unbuttoned. Because if a button's loose, it's not going to stay closed. Damn it. Anyway, I like this shirt a lot. That's why I'm upset. I like wearing this one. I like the designs on it. Anyway, that's tomorrow night. And then Monday, the daytime stream will be another Krabs Treasure. And by the way, I think we're getting near the end of the game. I actually think that we've got this dungeon that leads to this electric ability. Then we've got the optional content to explore with the robot crabs. And after that, I think there's 1 or 2 more areas left. And that's the end of the game. So I think we're in the home stretch. I think within 2 to 3 streams, we're going to beat another Krabs Treasure. Okay? So another Krabs Treasure Monday stream. Monday night, ladies and gentlemen, listen up. I am bringing back Helldivers 2 on Monday night. You guys have been asking me for 2 different weeks to bring it back. And I said, nah, let's hold off. I'm bringing it back on Monday night on the late night stream. I hope that those of you who like Helldivers 2 are going to come by and hang out and engage and support the stream. Last time I played Helldivers 2, it didn't work. As a night stream, it pretty much died, and engagement was low and support was low, and I was like, that's why I'm going to hold off on playing it for a bit and see what happens. So now it's been 2 weeks, all right? Bringing it back. Let's see if it works. If it works as a late night stream, I will keep it in the rotation. If it doesn't work and it ends up being another dead stream, then I think I'm probably going to retire it at this point. You know, it's kind of like all these other indie games that are big successes at first. They fizzle out. And that's fine. Not every game is meant to be a ginormous, ongoing, entertaining success. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it kind of sucks when there's something that at one point had a good audience and somehow it fell off. People don't really like it anymore. So let's see what happens on Monday night. I would like for it to be fun and have an audience. But I don't want, I'm not going to keep playing it and forcing it if it doesn't work. We could always go back to Star Wars Battlefront Collection, which is a broken mess, but hilarious every single time I play it, right? It's literally a laugh riot, and we have a good time hanging out together. So we'll see what happens Monday. And then Tuesday, will be more Fallout 4, and my next session of Street Fighter 6, where hopefully I do better with Zangief this time. And then on Wednesday, maybe more another Krabs Treasure heading into the end game. And then we'll see what we do Wednesday night. Will it be Helldivers? Will it be Star Wars? What will it be? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay? Next week is the big one. On the 21st, we've got the release of Hellblade 2. On the 22nd, it's the giant update for Street Fighter 6 featuring Akuma and the balance changes. So next week, we're going to have a lot more new stuff to tackle and cover. Okay? Also, quick reminder. My upcoming Indies Marathon event, PC-centric event this time, which I really haven't done in ages, is on Saturday, May 25th. Please nominate indie games if you have not in the thread by typing !indies into the stream chat. Or if you're not in the chat right now, you're watching this on demand, there is a community post from the beginning of the month that you can find on the community tab of this channel. Please nominate indie games. The most nominated indie games will then be put into a final poll that you guys will vote on. There's so many games coming out right now that people are recommending. What about Hades 2, which is now in early alpha? I don't even know if it would run on my mini PC. What about the new game Animal Well from the producer Video Game Donkey, right? What about this? What about that? Everyone has different suggestions. Please suggest them. Okay? I'm very eager to see what happens. What I'm going to do is by the end of this week, this streaming week, I'm going to make the poll, and you guys are going to vote for 1 week on what games you want to see during the Indies Marathon event. Okay? Cool. Isn't it all 2D based? What? What are you talking about? No, this Indies event is not 2D based. It's indie games. It's literally just indie games that will run on my mini PC. That's the criteria. And the specs of my mini PC are posted up and pasted in that thread. So you'll know the specs. So don't nominate high-end games that won't run on it, okay? Okay, cool. That's it. That's what I've got. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I got a little bit of game news to cover today. So let's get to my favorite segment, your favorite segment, and everyone's favorite segment. A little thing we like to call DSP news around here. All right? And by the way, I have to turn on the air conditioner because it has now hit 83 degrees in my office. So, my remote's not working because my fan is blocking it. My fan that's blowing the air towards me has an infrared. I think it's blocking the infrared of this remote. I might have to move the fan, or sadly, I might have to get up and touch the fucking air conditioner. That would suck. I have to keep doing that all day. All right. So I have 2 news stories for everyone today. The first does not involve video games. It involves cellular phones. Why does it involve cellular phones? Because, first of all, we all have one. Second of all, we all probably are with one of the major companies. Like, what are the major companies for cellular phone use? Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, right? And even if you have a third-party cell plan, you might not realize that you're probably still part of those networks. Like, a lot of those other cell plans actually just use the same networks as the big guys. They lease the space, okay? So, you might say, well, what is the story? Wait till you hear this. All of these companies are being sued in a ginormous lawsuit by 50 attorneys general in the United States. And rather than actually go to a court case, which likely they would lose, they are going to give an unprecedented 10.22 million reward payment, all right, as a settlement. But what is it for? It's because they've all been lying to all of us all along. You know how every single day you would go online or you turn on your TV and it's like, oh, Verizon unlimited plan. Verizon now has an unlimited plan, you know, of talk and text, right? Or another promotion that you probably see all the time. Sign up for our service for a 2-3 year plan and get your phone for free. Free new phone when you come and sign up for a new plan, right? Well, guess what? Literally, it's all a lie. None of that exists, okay? The unlimited plans that these carriers give you have hidden terms and conditions most people don't know about. When they say unlimited data, what they're saying is you will never go over a certain amount where basically you'll get charged extra. If you have a plan with these companies, you'll pay what's agreed to. But what they actually don't outright tell you is that when you use data to a certain amount, they then throttle your data massively. So let's say, for example, you got an unlimited plan with T-Mobile, and your intention was to use it to do everything in your house. You're going to make calls, you're going to be on the internet, but you know what? You're going to sync that to your TV, and you're going to stream video, and you're going to do all that. Well, once you hit a certain amount of caps of data, whatever it may be for each carrier, they just go, you're super slow now. Deal with it. Did they outright tell you that in their contracts? No. No. In fact, a lot of them don't even tell you what the criteria is to hit for the throttling. They just say there is one, but they don't tell you specifically what it is. So they can just arbitrarily make a decision and say, oh, we decided you use too much data, slow you down. And now you're fucked. Huh? Right? That's ridiculous. Why would they do that? That's not unlimited then. If it was unlimited, it means unlimited of the same quality forever, not unlimited of this quality while we like it, and then we decide to change it in the middle. Okay? So Number one, the attorneys general feel that that's massively false advertising, and they sued, and rather than go to court, all these companies are settling, which means they know that they're in the wrong, but they just don't want to hash it out in court because they know they're probably going to lose. That's number one. Okay? Number two, free phones. They don't exist. There's no such thing as a free phone, right? What a lot of these places do is you'll go into the store and they'll say, oh, we'll give you a phone today. And you'll be like, well, I don't have to pay for it, right? No, you just get it today. Oh, free phone. No, that's not how it works. They take that phone, and first of all, what they'll do is they'll let you trade in your old phone. So you'll get some credit at the store, right? And it's all some weird criteria to determine how much you get for a trade-in of an old phone. Then what they do is they take the cost of the phone that they're going to give you that day, and they finance it out over a set number of months, which is usually around 2.5 to 3 years. Okay? So imagine you go in, free phone. It even says on the signs, free phone, free phone. Wow, okay. No, you're not getting a free phone at all. You're paying for the phone. You're just paying for it slowly over time. So essentially, you're doing it as a payment plan. You're not, most phones today cost upwards of over $1,000. If you get an iPhone, if you get one of the Samsung phones, if you get one of the Google phones, they're over $1,000 each. Some of them are even ridiculous. Some of them are like $17.99 or something insane like that. Right? $2,000 for a fucking phone that in a moment you drop it and it's just broken. Right? So what they do is they finance it out over that time, and they try to make a plan that's like affordable for you. And of course, there's fees involved and things like that. A lot of people, I guess, are arguing it's not clear. Well, how can you advertise free phone? It's not free. You're literally making the customer pay for it. Yeah, it's not, you get it on the day that you sign up. That's great, but it's not free. So basically, two major false advertisement campaigns that have been going on for upwards of over 10 years from all these major carriers are complete lies. So FYI, number one, now that they've agreed to a settlement, you can plan that you're not going to see those ads anymore. They're not. You're not going to see advertisements anymore that say unlimited or free. What you're going to probably see is no additional charges for data use, right? Or finance your phone. Like, they're going to have to be transparent about it because they just got sued and had to do a settlement. So, FYI, don't believe everything you hear, because it's funny because you hear this kind of shit all the time in advertising. I hear it in food all the time, right? Subway, eat fresh. Fresh. What the fuck is your criteria of fresh? The meat at Subway was made in a factory across the fucking country and probably refrigerated or frozen for months on end before the food was ever shipped to the fucking store. The bread is made somewhere else, and all they do is toss it in the oven to heat it up so it rises. The vegetables are probably the only thing in there that they cut. And even then, do you think that shit's fresh? That shit sits in a fridge all week. So what the fuck is fresh? But this false advertisement happens all the time in any kind of industry, and we just kind of let it go. In this case, finally, some attorney generals in our country here in the United States decided to take up the case, and they banded together and they slammed these cell phone providers with a case that's like, listen, either you go through this long, arduous ass case where you're going to lose because it is false advertising, or you change your advertising and you pay a fee. So that's what they're doing. It would be nice if they would do this to more places. There's just too much bullshit out there when it comes to this stuff, where we all are told one thing and it's literal lies, but no one holds anyone to task for what they're saying in advertisement. So that you think something for the longest time and it's complete bullshit. It's just, you know, yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. So, well, hopefully we see more of this in the future. The other story I have today is related to gaming, although it's also related to social media. A couple days ago, Nintendo made a public posting on the Twitter/X app, basically stating the following. In a few days, you will no longer be able to take a screenshot from any Switch game and post it onto Twitter X. Sorry. That's all it basically said. That's it. Done. And everyone's like, again? So this has already happened with other consoles where they all had at one point social media apps integrated into them. And what you could do is while you were playing a game, you could do a screen capture and you could post it directly to your Twitter account. Okay, I did that a few times over the years. This actually started around the PS4 era. And I did that with quite a few different playthroughs that I was playing. I would just take a screen grab and toss it on my Twitter. And people would be like, ooh, what a preview of what Phil's doing today. Can't wait to watch the videos later, right? Well, Nintendo is now doing away with this. And you might say, well, gee, I wonder why all these companies are not doing it anymore. Well, there's two different reasons. Number one is because, honestly, since Elon Musk bought Twitter X, a lot of companies don't really care about their presence on it anymore. They feel like the app sadly has gone downhill. It's not seen as free media anymore, which I disagree with. I do feel like it's free media. It's actually too free media, which we'll talk about in a second. Basically it's fallen apart with a lot of botting and shit. But I think what it is a lot of these companies think that Elon Musk is like a hyper Republican, even though he's actually not. And because of that, they don't want to associate themselves with someone who's not of their political stance or belief, which is ridiculous because, again, as I've said many times, it seems like everything today is becoming too fucking political. And I hate that shit. I don't think that any of this stuff should be political at all. I think it's dumb to make everything political. Games are not supposed to be one political stance. Video games are not a political party stance. You understand that? So why are we acting like they are? I think that's really stupid. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, since Elon Musk bought out Twitter and X, one of the changes he made, he monstrously increased the fees, all right, to have an integration into their API, meaning if you want to have something you have in your company integrate with X or Twitter, there's a fee to do it, and the fee has insanely increased. I believe the numbers, this is off the top of my head, it's like, for the base level use, it's like $41,000 a year. And then for like the high end use, it's like over $200,000 a year. And it used to be like a fraction of that. So Elon, thinking he's a genius, I'll just make it so that all these companies have to pay more money to use us and we'll just make tons of profit. And literally what's happened is company after company after company has said, we're just not going to use it anymore. That's why none of these consoles link to X anymore. They all just said, fuck it. We don't want to do it anymore. So the reason I'm bringing this up is this morning, X Clapback. They actually posted up. You want to hear this? Here's what they posted on their account. This is X Gaming, which is the official gaming account on X from the company. The gaming community is one of the largest and most vibrant communities on our platform, and we are dedicated to enhancing and supporting gaming-related features. As part of Nintendo's planned discontinuation of sharing content to X from the Nintendo Switch from June 11th, users will need to download Switch gameplay media directly to their smartphones and share it natively on our platform. We worked together with Nintendo throughout this process to ensure API access for this integration, but ultimately it was a product decision made by Nintendo. Our partnership with the Nintendo remains strong, and we're working together to ensure a smooth transition for all users. You literally said nothing. So they're saying it's Nintendo's fault. Well, Nintendo decided to not use your service. That is very true. I mean, that's definitely a truthful statement. Nintendo said, we don't want to pay. But did you explain why Nintendo might have had that change of heart? What was the discussion? Like, literally, this is a worthless post because it doesn't state intent. All it says is, well, this is happening. Well, we already know. Nintendo already said it. So for you to say this is complete fluff. It's like, oh, it wasn't our fault. It was Nintendo's decision. Yeah, but why'd they make that decision, genius? Probably because you fucking increased the fees so high they don't want to pay it. Because you're stupid. It's sad because all these gambits that Elon has done to try to make X profitable because he paid too much for it have failed. He tried to make it so that anyone with a verified checkmark, now that's gone. You have to pay for the verified checkmark, and that'll be revenue for the site. Has not generated significant revenue for X at all. He thought it was going to. What happened is everyone with the verified X didn't pay for it, and you got a bunch of fucking bots and idiots paying for the checkmark. It's completely worthless now, so no one pays attention to checkmarks anymore. They're completely invalidated. They have no use. Okay? Oh, I'll just raise the fees for everything. So everyone just discontinued the services that use the fees then. So he's on a downward spiral at this point when it comes to this stuff. However, I don't think, by the way, I don't think Elon Musk is going anywhere because he has a rabid army of fucking people who believe he's a super genius and literally throw money at the fucking guy. Like, for example, he actually had a big problem with Tesla this year, if you didn't hear. So he missed a ton of deliveries on his Tesla cars. His companies weren't delivering cars on time, okay? So there was a downturn in the stock price. For literally no reason, the stock has skyrocketed again. There's no reason. There's no good news coming out of Tesla. There was no reason for people to get confidence back in the company. You know, it just, you know. So I think what it is he just has a fucking group of people who love him. It's like the Apple fans. Oh, we love Apple. We buy everything Apple. Apple hasn't been prominent or pertinent in about 10 years, but still they continue to make products that sell for some fucking reason. It doesn't make sense, but they do. And I feel like that's kind of what's happened with him, is that he's become this celebrity that now no matter what he does, all these mistakes he makes, he still somehow stays at the top and exists because people are just stupid. So I don't know how long until his bubble bursts, but it seems like no time soon. Every time it looks like something's going to go bad for the guy, somehow it turns around inexplicably. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Okay. So that's really the news for today. Let's now get to some shout outs. Go. Here we go. All right. We start off today with Big Mac, 13 months as a channel member, and he says, when are we going to get another Call of Duty stream? When the new one comes out. I'm not playing the old Call of Duty again. There's no point. I'm just going to wait for the new one to come out in, November? Whenever it comes out. October. And we'll play it then. DBZ King 119 did a $5 super chat and says, which Fallout game do you think is the best between 4 and New Vegas? New Vegas. New Vegas is rough around the edges when it comes to visuals. And the gameplay mechanics at this point can be argued to be a little bit outdated, but a superior story, right? Superior location. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to argue that the Boston area Commonwealth of the United States is more exciting than you know, Las Vegas, right? And the surrounding areas. They're just much better. So, definitely New Vegas to me. Thank you for the first super chat of the day. Looks like we have our first tip of the day. All right, Gamer Stevie with our first tip of the day, a $7 tip. And he says, let's play his animation. Just a donation, funny content, really cool stuff. Thank you very much, Gamer Stevie, to start off today with a $7 tip. I appreciate that. Cool. And being that it is already almost 12:15, I guess what we will do is open up to some Q&A. If any other contributions come in, I will shout them out appropriately and get you on the leaderboard. But in the meantime, yes, let's open it up and let's see what you guys want to talk about today. Jade says, I'm just here to chill and relax. I'm good. Sounds good to me, Jade. Sounds like a plan, right? I'm here to chill and relax too. Ben Fridge says, would you play as top tier to expose how flawed and unbalanced the game is? I think you're talking about Street Fighter 6. The truth is, I don't like top tier characters who are pure rushdown. I don't. I never really have. The only game where okay, there's 2 games where I did rushdown. Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I take that back in Super Turbo as well. So 3 games, Super Turbo, Marvel 1, Marvel 2. In Super Turbo, I played Balrog and Vega, who could be considered rushdown. And then in Marvel 1, I used Wolverine. And in Marvel 2, I used Magneto. All right? So those are the 3 games ever in really my fighting game runs in history where I've enjoyed the rushdown style of character. I just don't like it that much. I don't like the idea that you mindlessly throw offense and guess 50-50 to see if it hits. And if it doesn't hit, oh, you're just such a good character, it's safe anyway. That's literally Street Fighter 6 in a nutshell. The best characters can continuously attack you non-stop. Just a big flurry of attacks. And it's a guessing game. Do I block high or low here, or do I have to break a throw? Right? So it's basically 3 guesses you have to make. Now, there's variations that you could parry it or whatever, but basically you always have to be guessing. I don't like that. I like a game where you hit because you intended on hitting. Oh, I actually did a setup to fool the opponent and then wham, I got them, right? Or I made them miss and then boom, giant punish. That's the kind of fighting game gameplay I enjoy. I don't like mindless safe rushdown, which is what the vast majority of the top tier Street Fighter 6 is. The one exception to that, I take that back, there's two exceptions. JP and Guile. Both JP and Guile are unique in this regard because they have great distance projectile games, right? And high combo ability in certain situations, okay? So, oh, my nose. So, in regards to that, I probably would not want to pick Jury. I probably would not want to pick Ken. I probably wouldn't want to pick Cammy. DJ, you know, I don't like that in your face guessing game bullshit. Okay. I would probably prefer JP or Guile. Now, from what I've seen of Guile in this game, I'm not convinced I would like him either. He doesn't seem too fun. He just seems like you have a couple quick things you can do. Like you could do Drive Rush, Bazooka Knee, or Drive Rush, what's the other one that everyone does? Overhead. And then after that, you have options. Like options select after you Drive Rush. And if it hits, great. If not, literally run away like a pussy and throws fucking Sonic Booms the whole game. And guess what? That works online. And that's sad because probably offline, it's not nearly as effective. But online, you can't even react to a Sonic Boom from almost full screen. This was happening last night. I'm fighting a Guile. I'm literally just standing still, waiting for the Sonic Boom. The Sonic Boom comes out, and I go back. It hits me. What the fuck? I can't even recognize a full-screen Sonic Boom and block on reaction with this game online? That is fucking awful. That is really bad gameplay. I guarantee you offline, you can probably do it. But online, it's like, get the fuck out of here. Come on, man. So this is essentially another situation like, do you remember Injustice 2? In Injustice 2, there were a couple characters, all right, that were based on just zoning in range, spamming projectiles. Now, there were characters based around getting around that. The problem was online, you couldn't get them to move fast enough because of the delay. So you'd see the projectile, you'd do the move to teleport behind, get stuff. The game was designed around this character counterplaying projectiles, but you can't do it online. And to say that I can't even block, I'm not even trying to do a move to blow through the Sonic Boom. I'm just trying to block the Sonic Boom, and I can't block it. That's insanity. Just in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, a lot of gameplay is based on being able to just parry stuff. So you can walk forward with certain characters, and if they try to attack you, parry on reaction. Just parry it right on reaction. That's the core gameplay element of Third Strike. You literally should be able to do that in Street Fighter 6, and you can't. If you walk forward, you try to parry on reaction, you smack. So literally, Guile Online is so crazy powerful compared to how Guile should be because the netcode doesn't let you block or parry on reaction properly. So it's kind of, I would say it's not as bad with JP. With JP, unless you're in a certain situation with certain characters, Zangief. For the most part, what I've seen against JP, there's ways around shit. Like, once you know exactly what JP's going to do or you expect what he's going to do, you can basically kind of get around or bully your way through the JP projectile walls that he creates. But at the same time, I think a good JP can likely keep you away almost indefinitely. So I would say, out of all the top tier characters, right, I think the one that maybe you respect the most would be JP. At the same time, JP is a button masher. And what I mean by that is that character has two moves. I forget, and it's definitely low jab. But then I forget what the other one is. I don't know if it's medium or fierce. But one of his other standing attacks just has such insane fucking priority that most people can't fight him mid-screen. They know they can't. Anything gets stuffed by that one normal he does. So it's like, again, another character. Why is he top tier? Because his fucking moves have such insane priority for no good fucking reason. You could just jab, 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 jab. Oh, look, free combo. What the fuck? All you did was mash jab. It drives me nuts because the idea of mashing jab being so good originated with a game that everyone hated. The game was called Capcom vs. SNK 1. The original CVS game The entire game was dominated by light kick and jab. For some reason, those moves were the fastest in the game, and they beat everything. They would stuff supers, they would stuff heavies, they would stuff, get this, you could do jumping jab or jumping light kick, it would stuff a fucking Shoryuken. You couldn't anti-air someone in that game. So the entire game was jab, 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 move. Jab, 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 super. What the fuck is this game? The entire game. And it ruined the game. The game was literally awful. And after maybe just a few months of it being in competitive scenes, it started to get panned by the Street Fighter community. That's why Capcom vs. SNK 2 actually got rushed out within like a year and a half later. And that game was dramatically better and fixed the mashing jab problem. But why on earth only certain characters in Street Fighter 6 have the overpowered lights? I have no idea. But it's the top tiers. The top tiers can walk up, jab, 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 jab. It's brainless. And it dominates. It's stupid. So, again, why don't I like the top tiers in Street Fighter 6? 4 out of the 6 characters play exactly the same with rush-down guessing games that I don't like. Guile I might like, but Guile is just completely unfair online because literally nobody can fucking block. No one can block the Sonic Boom, so you get away with wins just by spamming fucking Sonic Boom. And JP is a jab masher. So it's like, do I want to play with any of those styles? No, not really. Not really at all. Like, I actually find that incredibly annoying. You know, I don't really want to be a part of that. Perhaps, again, with this update, this balance update that they're going to do, maybe that will fix some of that. I don't know. I would hope so. Because right now, I just don't feel like the top tiers are characters I would want to play with. None of that, like, out of all the top tiers, I would say Guile and JP would be more my style, but not when I win matches just because Sonic Booms can't be blocked online, and I win matches because I mash jab through everything. I don't want to play like that. That would actually take away my enjoyment. Like, when I win matches with the characters I'm using now, I kind of feel like, wow, I'm fulfilled because I know that was kind of a more challenging fight. It was honest. It was honest wins where I actually outplayed the opponent. 9 times out of 10 when I'm losing to these fucking button mashers, they're not honest wins. It was the flowchart that beat me. It was the balance of the game and the netcode that beat me. It wasn't the person on the other end of the internet that beat me. It was all the other factors combined, and the fact that the game, I'm using a low tier character that half my shit drops anyway. That's what beats me, and that's what drives me nuts. Again, losing to that Master Minot, that Minot spanked me. And I was like, dude, I want to play that Minot 10 more times to see if I can learn how to fight a good Minot, because I've never really fought a good Minot. I've never even seen those tactics she was doing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to fight and learn. I don't want to fight the fucking idiot who just plays the flowchart and you just can't beat it because the game's unbalanced, you know? I don't also want to be the flowchart. I would get no satisfaction out of being the flowchart. Like back in the day, and you know, again, going back to the arcade days, Street Fighter 3 comes out. And it's discovered that in the first 2 versions of Street Fighter 3, Ibuki is endlessly broken. She has an infinite combo. She's wide damage, re-juggle dizzies and everything. I refuse to play her. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's easy mode shit. And it's fucking not hard to do at all. I don't want to play like that. I actually want to challenge where I feel like I've earned my wins. In Marvel vs. Capcom 1, hands down, the best character is Strider Hiryu. Because he has a hit string he can do. It's like 5-6 hits. It builds a super meter. He activates super. It's a ring of armor that makes him unhittable. Or if he hits, you can't combo him because the armor hits you. And after this is going, he can do the same string of moves and regain a super and do it again. Literally, when Strider Hiryu gets 1 super, he can win the entire game. He's by far the cheapest character in the game. Super powered, overpowered. I don't use him. I don't want to pick the character that's the easy fucking win. I don't. At least in a game like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, even if I'm picking Balrog or Vega, there's ways to soundly beat those characters. They have counter picks or whatever, right? I don't like the idea that I have to just pick the top tier, most overpowered character to get a win in a fighting game, because then I feel no satisfaction getting the win. It's the game that earned the win, not me. Just because I learned a pattern and went boop, 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 pressing buttons, doing the pattern, and I don't have to think doing it, that's not a win. You didn't even intelligently use your brain to fucking play the game. And that's what a lot of the players of Street Fighter 6 do. It's fucking sad. Why, if they ever try to play anyone intelligent, they get spanked. How do these people get to master And then as soon as they get to Master, they go plummeting down into the 1300s of points because they can't get a single win in Master because all they did was learn a pattern. I don't need to prove that there's a top tier in Street Fighter 6. If you want to see the evidence, go look at Capcom Cup results where there were like, I keep forgetting Luke, by the way. Luke absolutely is a brain dead top tier character in this game. I just always forget about him. No, but Luke, there was like 7 or 8 Lukes. There was like 5 or 6 Kens. There was a ton of Jury. It's the top tiers. Literally the established top tiers that all play the same was the dominant class at Capcom Cup. Why? Because that's the brainless shit. That's the fucking ad nauseum, play the pattern the best, you win. That's the game right now. Will it change? I hope. The thing is, at least in this game, there is variety of gameplay. In Street Fighter V, there wasn't even variety of gameplay. Everyone just had a similar pattern that they played. It didn't even matter what style of character they were supposed to be. They all were like that. Like, every character in Street Fighter V was played with a pattern. And that's why the game sucked. In Street Fighter 6, some of the top tier are pattern characters, and then you have other characters that are different. And at least there you can play and have variety in the gameplay and enjoy the game as a more old school fighter if you wish to play it that way. But man, is it a ridiculously difficult, arduous task to play it like that. It's like, unless you succumb to one of these fucking patterns, you're just going to get spanked nonstop. And that's sad. I hope that changes. Thank you to Hair of the Dog for a $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Okay. Okay. That's very true. Dapan says, I said it 100 times. If you're master rank in Street Fighter 6, but you haven't reached 1700 master rank, it doesn't mean anything. I was just having this conversation with my wife last night. So, in life, right? There's people who go to school, university, to get a degree to do something, right? They go to degree, they're gonna be a doctor. I need a doctorate. I'm gonna be a lawyer. I gotta pass the bar exam, right? But the thing you gotta understand is that in life, there's people who absolutely ace the class and get A+, but guess what? There's all these other levels of people all the way down to the people who barely passed the D-. If you got a D-, you still passed, right? So in life, when you go to see a doctor, when you go to see a lawyer, when you go to see a technical professional, you have to understand you may be seeing the upper crust A+ expert, or you may be seeing the D-, and you don't know, right? Literally in Street Fighter 6, that's the case. When you hit master rank, you don't know if you're fighting an ace or a D-. But you can tell once you start to play, you see the people who actually have intelligence in their fucking heads and do things that are interesting. They react to things, they mix up. And then you see the person flowchart, flowchart, flowchart. And once you break the flowchart, they can't even play the game. They don't know what's going on. That's the D- player. Right? So when I'm playing against the Lily, and I'm dominating the Lily, and then all of a sudden, I do a move that's guaranteed to hit, and all of a sudden, a level 3 super interrupts and beats me because the game dropped my throw input and gives her the level 3. That's the D- player. You know? You did a move that literally does not work in that situation, but because I'm playing online, it dropped my throw input and you get a level 3 super and I lose the game now. D-. Congrats. You still got the win, but you're still a D-. All right. So what would you guys like to talk about before we get to our Fallout 4 fun today? Expand Dog says, I'm excited for Paper Mario on the 23rd. I'm surprised you're not blaming Nintendo for the Twitter thing like usual. Arguably, they're too greedy to pay Elon's toll. You know they have the money. Yeah, but again, the point I'm making, Expand Dog, is that there's this movement now that since Elon bought X, essentially the purpose of X doesn't exist anymore. Like, it used to be this place for social media. Every company wanted to be a part of it. It was a big thing. And now that he bought it, a lot of people are just like, nah, it lost that. It lost that fucking, that momentum. No one really cares about it anymore. And it's sad. Like, that website, dude, half the posts are ads now because I'm not a premium member. I don't pay for fucking X Premium, whatever the fuck it's called. So I don't have the blue check. Half the posts in my timeline are advertisements now. So you want to know what I do? When I see an ad, guess what I do? I block the account. As soon as I see an ad on X, I just block that account outright. I'm like, I never need to see that account ever again. I'm never going to care about that account. I block them all. So I'm trying. The thing is, I'm trying to fucking get it cleaned up, and it's still a mess, right? That's number one. Number two, half the accounts on there are bots. So you'll see a trend, and you're like, what's that trend? You click on it, and it's literally a bunch of identical posts from a zillion accounts, all posted the same post, and none of it makes sense. It's bot accounts. Someone's paying to create mass bots on X to flood it with trends that don't have any meaning. So the entire site is kind of worthless now. Like I said, it used to be a really good place for news, for discussion. Now it's hard to get any use out of it. It's been completely destroyed by Elon Musk. He ran it into the ground. Now, by the way, I don't agree with how it used to be run either. It used to be run in a way where it was very censored and pushed towards one political side, and I didn't like that either. But it went from being one political side shifted to all just crap and junk and completely destroyed. So, pretty sad. Okay, let's see here. I received a $5 tip from the mysterious stranger guitar riff plays. Again, that's another perk. I just never picked it in a Fallout game for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know how useful the mysterious stranger is. You know what, it would have been nice if they actually had a plot, because there's no plot, right? It's just when you have that perk, sometimes a mysterious stranger will show up to help fight and save your butt or whatever. And that's literally it. Like, it would be cool if he would show up and have a plot of who he is and, you know, becomes an ally or maybe a longtime follower. That'd be nice. But just the idea of a guy just showing up and firing to save your butt. I've never, like I said, I've never done it. I've never even seen it. I've never even watched someone's playthrough where they had Mysterious Stranger. I wonder how effective it is. Do I enjoy hiking? When I was younger, I used to be a lot more physically fit and athletic. But I can't anymore. My back. I can't hike. If I hike, I will likely hurt my back, and then I won't be able to function. I have problems with my back. My lower back, many years ago, had a severely herniated disc, which has pretty much recovered. But if I do things that are more physically strenuous, I start to feel pain again. In recent years, I've had a lot of issues with my upper back, in my neck, or my shoulder blade area, where I know that there's issues there with the discs, and I'll get pain, I'll get numbness. It's like I can't be doing things physically for extended periods of time because I'm probably going to hurt myself. So I can't. Like, even if I wanted to go hiking, likely I would end up injuring myself. So that's why it sucks. I live in a part of the world, a part of the country where the great outdoors is prominent and there's tons of nature stuff to do, and I really can't do it. It sucks. But at the flip side of that, where I live is a place where everything is easily within a short driving distance. Like, I can right now go to anything I want without having to drive on the highway. So because of that, I don't have to strain my back. I can do everything that I need to do in my life and not have to physically exert myself to the point where I have to hurt myself. It used to be different. When I lived in Connecticut, everything was far away. I had to drive a ton just to go anywhere, do normal things. My fucking parking lot was out in the middle of a lot, was far away from my condo. There was ice and shit constantly where I had to worry about slipping and falling and shoveling and stuff like that. And nothing like that here. It's the opposite, which is a good thing. I can have a lifestyle that doesn't make me have to strain myself and hurt my back further. So that's good. Am I ready for Elden Ring next month? I think as much as I could be. I played Elden Ring and finished my second run to get ready, including beating Melania again, which was really fun. And challenging, but fun to do the right way this time. And then, excuse me. Now I'm playing another Krabs Treasure, a Souls-like. So I think I'm doing everything I possibly can to get ready. And I think I will be ready when it hits in about, what is it, a month and a half from now, I think? It's end of June. Face on Mars, you are an idiot. That's not even what I've said. So enjoy your ban. Not even what I said. You guys just making up stories. Okay. So, Generation Z, are you going to keep your name that now? Because now you've changed your name twice in the last week. Did Seattle have the Aurora Borealis? I believe we did have it last night, but I didn't know, so I didn't look for it. If I had known, I probably would have went out there and looked for it, but I didn't know till this morning. I woke up, and then I saw a bunch of articles about it. I was like, oh, shit. I totally would have went outside last night to see if I could see it. If I consider moving over to PC gaming, to clarify here, I have a mini PC that is capable of running low to mid-end PC games. That's it. I do not have a gaming PC that I could be playing, you know, modern games on. So no, I cannot be a PC gamer at this point. Maybe in the future. The thing is, there's just so many issues with PC gaming, and I hate to say it because I know a lot of you out there are PC gamers, but every time that I go to watch a YouTuber who's a PC gamer, they always have technical issues. I'm not kidding. I wish this was an exaggeration. I swear to you it's not. I've now watched 4 different YouTubers over the years who are PC gamers, and when they go to play, there's always a fucking technical issue. The game doesn't work at launch properly. The game crashes. There's bugs. There's glitches. There's resolution issues. The lighting's fucked up. The frame rate's fucked up. And they sit there fucking with it to try to get it to work right. You know what happens when I play a video game? I boot the game up and I play it. Because I'm playing it on console. You know? Now, I don't know. Maybe this is just a misrepresentation, but that's the experience I'm seeing. It's ridiculous, like, how all these people who play always have these fucking issues, you know? That's right, Jade. He's talking about the fighting game stuff from earlier. He's in Injustice 1, it was Deathstroke, and Injustice 2, it was Darkseid, Deadshot, and Dr. Fate. Right. Those characters who were built for projectile gameplay. But then you could get around it with certain characters, but it doesn't work online because of the lag. Exactly right. What's Captain playing? She was, you know, playing Fallout 4. And like I told you guys the other day, she finished the Brotherhood questline. So now it's uncertain what she's going to be playing next. She may play Hellblade 1 to determine if she wants to play Hellblade 2 when it comes out in a little over a week. She's not sold on it yet if she wants to play it or not. But outside of that, I don't know. The way I see it with PC gaming, it's fine as long as let me put it this way. If you're a PC gamer, right? And you just play games yourself for yourself, great, good on you. Because if you have an issue, okay? Ban this idiot. So, what was I going to say? Let's say you're a PC gamer and you're just playing for yourself. If you have issues, no big deal, right? You could sit there, you could troubleshoot them, you could fix them, good. And then you play, and you get a great gameplay experience after you work out all the issues. If the game has multiple issues or whatever. But the way I see it is, let's say, for example, that you are a streamer, right? You're someone who wants to play games constantly for an audience. Do you really want to be in a situation where literally every game you buy for PC likely will have some kind of fucking issues you got to work out? And not to say that it's your fault. What I'm seeing is that there's a pattern with PC versions of games lately, especially cross-platform, right? I'm not saying PC exclusives. PC exclusives almost always run great on PC, right? It's rare you have a PC exclusive game that, it actually sucked. But these cross-platform games, a lot of the time, just have issues on the PC versions at launch. And then you got to dick around with that game for like a week. Every day they're just trying to fucking tweak it, make it better, fucking figure it out. Do you think your audience, as a streamer or a content creator, wants to see that? Imagine if every time that I went to play Fallout 4, we booted it up and it crashed. The frame rate's running at 20 frames per second. And what's going on now? Now we got to change the fucking anti-aliasing. We got to change the fucking bloom. We got to change this and that. You know, we got to fuck with this, fuck with this, fuck with this. You can never get it stable, right? Do you really want to see that? You know what I mean? Like, as a content creator, I almost feel like it's a disservice to my audience to be playing PC-centric versions of games, because I don't want to give you that amount of hassle. When you're tuning into my stream, it's gameplay time. That's exactly what you want. You want it to be gameplay time. You don't want it to be Phil fucks around with settings for another half an hour before we even play the game time. You just want to play the game. right? And that's really what we do every day. Almost no problems, right? So that's at least my take on it from what I've seen. Now, maybe again, I got a misconception. Maybe I just had bad luck watching 4 fucking different streamers who all play games on PC and have had issues. Literally all 4 of them. And they're all people who live in different places. It's not like, oh, it's same people. No, they live in different places around the world. They play different styles of games. They all still have the same issues. So to me, it's like, it just seems like a pattern. And it seems like it's something that a lot of people just don't want to address because they don't want to admit that, yeah, PC gaming has drawbacks. It has tons of advantages as well, right? Getting the absolute best version of a game, being able to play all those PC exclusives. That's a huge positive. But is it worth the hassle of always knowing something technical is likely going to go wrong and you have to fuck around to figure it out? You know, and in a lot of cases, it's not even the gamer. It's the fucking game sucks at launch and they got to fix it, right? Oh, the PC port of this game's terrible, so now you got an inferior game. It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me the 772nd time in 10 years where a PC port of a game is terrible. Why are you still playing on PC? You know? It's happening more and more and more now. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think we had a good podcast today. Thanks for chilling. And thanks for the discourse and the early support. Let's adjourn for the day. And hopefully, like I said, I think today we're going to have a much more entertaining, chill day. I know a lot of people didn't like the kitty game yesterday. It's too cutesy for me. Well, we're playing adult games today, folks. We're playing Fallout 4 and we're playing a Souls-like tonight. All right, so a lot more up your alley today, I hope. The Fallout stream for sure will have a lot of interaction and fun, chill vibes. And it's going to be just, I feel like, a more calming, more enjoyable day of gaming today on stream. So I hope you will join me. I hope you will stick around for Fallout 4. And, you know, we'll come back tonight for the challenge of another Krabs treasure. All right? In the meantime, I thank you all for attending today's Level 1 podcast. In fact, shout out to X Shooter. He just did a super chat and he said, hey, Phil, happy Saturday. Thank you so much, X Shooter. I appreciate that. Happy Saturday to you. And, hold on. Oh, I can't update the leaderboard because I went to this screen. That's right. All right. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. And, I will be back tomorrow to talk about how today went. Hopefully, no stress. Hopefully, a much more relaxing day. All right. Thank you guys. And see you on Sunday.